Republican Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick went on Fox News this week where he kind of mocked the people who are getting those astronomical energy bills from the state of Texas, from the energy companies in the state of Texas. One man, as we know, had a $17,000 bill. Others have had $12,000, $13,000 bills. A lot of others, $5,000 to $8,000. And Dan Patrick said that, well, these people should have read the fine print. Here's what he said exactly. I saw the story about the high bills. Let me explain that. We have in Texas, you can choose your energy plan and most people have a fixed rate. If they had a fixed rate per kilowatt hour, their rates aren't going up. But the people who are getting those big bills are people who gambled on a very, very low rate. But I've told those folks, do not panic. We are going to figure that out. But going forward, people need to read the fine print in those kinds of bills, and we may even end that type of variable plan because people were surprised. Yeah, it's the fault of the people, right, Dan? It's not the fault of the energy companies who just said, hey, screw it, we can legally price gouge these people, so let's just do it and see what happens. No, totally not their fault, right? Totally not their fault. But the people who, as you say, gambled on a very, risky low rate, maybe you get it, maybe you don't. Gee, if only there was something in place that said don't friggin' gamble with your energy rate. Some kind of regulation on the energy sector that didn't allow them to do this. Don't blame the people for the corruption of the industry that keeps Republicans in power in the state of Texas. That is what this is all about, folks. The energy industry runs Texas. They control every Republican in that state, and probably a good handful of the Democrats as well. But the reason they don't have regulations is because they've paid off the right people. This is a almost criminal enterprise at this point. The energy industry in Texas is almost like the mob. They pay off the right people. They don't have to worry about anybody looking over their shoulders. That's what happens in the state of Texas. And Dan Patrick knows that because he's one of the people that gets the money. And so he goes on TV and he says, well, read the fine print, people. What did you think was going to happen? Your neighbors didn't have that because they didn't gamble. They weren't irresponsible. This is nuts. This is absolutely nuts. And let's not forget, by the way, that Dan Patrick was one of the first individuals in the early days of the pandemic to go on TV and say, well, maybe we got to let Grandma and Grandpa die in order to save the economy. So that's the kind of disgusting, horrible human being that Dan Patrick is. And if the voters in Texas have any common sense whatsoever, the next election you will get rid of this man and hopefully never have to think of him again. He's not just a bad politician, but based on what we've seen from him for the last 12 months, that man is pure evil. Get rid of him.